guys, welcome and welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, I'm Elaina. Привет, I'm your Russian-American makeup and beauty addict. I love buying and reviewing inexpensive, affordable makeup from everywhere, AliExpress, drugstore, you name it, I'll test it and I'll pass the savings to you guys. So this video is different because I've been thinking about this project thanks to Teresa Mulhern. She's my inspiration. She did this video first. It's common on YouTube. We answer your questions, subscribers, and other Facebook, WhatsApp group friends. So I asked you guys to ask me exercise-related questions, my job, fitness, and also makeup and personal. So I'm going to be beating my face to do this look. And I'm going to be answering your questions in categories. Exercise first, makeup later, and personal at the end. So if you guys are interested, then keep on watching. Don't forget to subscribe. I upload every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday at 11 AM Pacific time with free notification bell, so YouTube notifies you when the new video is out. And like this video if you enjoyed. Leave me a comment below. Let me know what you learned, if you want to know anything else about me or you're not that interested. So if you're interested to see what's going on, then keep on watching and let's get right into this. So shall we? The cat ears. So why not? The cat hair is always appropriate for any age. So this is the video I'm filming on my new camera for the first time, thanks to Teresa and her recommendations. I'm not using my microphone because my microphone doesn't want to sit on top of that. So hope the sound is good. If it's not good, then I'll have to figure something out, but I think it should be okay. So for this Q&A, I'm going to be beating my face, just in random beating. And I'm going to be doing a Q&A for fitness, exercise, personal questions, and makeup. So when I asked the questions from my girl group or any of my subscribers, some people asked me for makeup, about makeup, but mostly nobody is interested in exercise. So Teresa is a wonderful psychologist. She's a super smart lady and she's funny and she has so much knowledge. So when she did Q&A, thank you Teresa for your idea, she got a bunch of questions. When I asked, can you guys ask me questions about fitness? It was like crickets, crickets. Apparently nobody wants to know about exercise, but anyway, I'm just kidding. So I got some thanks to some of my subscribers and friends. So I actually prepared myself. I got notes that highlighted by topic. So I'm going to start first with exercise related questions, then I'm going to go into makeup, and then I'm going to finish with personal. So let me start priming. I'm going to do my eyes first since I'm going to be doing Jeffree Star makeup from my newest palette. So that's still one of the ones that I want to play with all the time, the Bloodlust. And I'm going to be priming Spillies. I got my whole set of drawers here from a bathroom. So let's get the mirror closer. I'll zoom you in. I like this primer because it really lightens up. If you see my eyelids are red, it's because I already wore Jeffree Star palette this morning, and it's very staining. It's good quality, but it's staining. So let's start with this first set of questions. This is all about exercise. So I'm not gonna name the names, I'm just gonna go with the questions right away. You know who you are. So first one is, how long have you been a fitness instructor and what do you teach as a fitness instructor? So how long, if you consider the years I lived in Moldova, where I had my own kind of business teaching, it's been about 23 years, I'd say, 23, 24. I started teaching in my country where there were no gyms, no real gyms. People would just rent a studio somewhere, or rent a room in high school, like a gym, and pay like a weekly rent 3 times a week or 2 times a week. And I'll put ads in the paper, aerobics 3 times a week. So people would pay me and I would pay rent and make some money. It was a very small business. That's how it started. There was no regulations, no licensing. People pretty much did what they wanted. I went to the aerobics class that was advertised like that on a piece of paper on a tree with a tearaway phone number when I was what, like 20, I would say, even younger. So I saw that ad. I went to the class. I loved it. First, I was so out of shape because I never did anything in high school. And then I went to the girls' class and I was like, oh my God, that's hard and I love it. So that was kind of a aerobics class with multiple exercises, cardio and strength, mostly cardio. And then after a few months, one of the instructors got sick and didn't show up. So it's like a typical story. I stepped in because I knew her routines and I taught my first class and I was like, ooh, I love this. I love to be in the spotlight. I love teaching people what to do. It's just the joy of exercise. So I got sucked in and I never looked back. And then we moved to this country. I got licensed in all kinds of things. So that leads me to the next questions. What do you teach? So I started teaching with aerobics, just floor aerobics in 1999 and 98. I'm aging myself. Well, I'm 44, like duh. I'm just putting a primer like everywhere right now. I'm getting distracted. Anyway. So I just taught floor aerobics. I've never seen a step board in my life when I moved here. So I was like, step board, what is that? That's not interesting. And I got sucked into teaching step, of course. And then I got into spinning, indoor cycling. And next one was, I think it was strength. I taught body conditioning. And the next one I would say was kickboxing. And what else? I did body pump by Les Mills more recently, but I wasn't so much into it because it's just not my thing. They tell you what to do. You have your routines, the same thing all the time. They tell you the script, what to say, and I don't know, I got tired of it. So after that, I did a dance fitness training, and that leads me to the next question. So what types? I told you all the types I teach. I teach dance, kickboxing. Well, right now I teach only one type. I'll get to it next. So what made you become a Zumba instructor? First, when I lived in Las Vegas, my husband and I lived in many, many places. And when we lived in Vegas, accidentally, I ran into the class called Mixed Fit, which is like a cardio hip hop, pretty much, if you don't know what it is. They pretty much take high intensity movements, make them real simple, and put them under music, like all popular songs that are on radio, hip hop, pop, R&B, all really, really cool. So it's like you feel like in a club. I'm gonna use my Jessup brushes for a change. I've been using AliExpress brushes. So I got sucked into that right off the bat. I never taught any dance fitness. So that was kind of a challenge because I'm like, well, I don't know what I'm gonna do, and I'm not familiar with this. But I really, really loved it. Just fluffy brush. I want to kind of go into like a bluish look because everybody's doing purple with this. I'm gonna go into scandal water. So I really love this, but it was not easy. When I used to teach in step aerobics and cardio kickboxing, spinning, it's totally different story when you get into dance fitness because it's different cues. It's all non-verbal cues. You use your fingers, hands to cue. You don't have microphone, so I struggled in the beginning, but then I got better. And when we moved to New York, in New York they didn't have any mixed fit, almost none. So I took Zumba there. First I was like, well, Zumba is not that interesting. It's not as hard as mixed fit. Zumba. I was a Zumba hater. But eventually I learned more And the more I took it, the more I loved it. And I saw there is so many possibilities and so many styles that you actually get to do your own style if you want. Well, you teach the basic formats, the basic dance types, but you can still add a little your own flavor and pick your own playlist and make it high intensity, which I love. So I got sucked into Zumba and I never looked back. It is my favorite thing to teach right now. And the next question is, as a fitness instructor, where do you source your inspiration from? Zumba as fitness is brilliant. There are a lot of different styles. Do you create your own or do you adhere to a set list of specific movements? That's exactly what I've been talking about anyway. So here's the thing. Zumba has a lot of different dance styles. That's what I like about it, because it's a mix of different things. You don't have to just do merengue or just salsa. You put a merengue, you put a salsa, you put a cumbia, you put a reggaeton, you put Jamaican dancehall, you put anything pop, hip hop, anything. And there's quebradita, which is Mexican. I love that too. Pretty much instructors just pick their own styles and their own set of songs they like. It has to be a variety, of course. It can't be just the reggaeton or just the merengue. You know, it has to be a variety. But it's up to you what songs you pick. Thing is, we as instructors, we get I wouldn't say monthly, but very often we get new releases. So we get a set of videos with a breakdown of choreography, so we can actually use the choreography from Zumba, or we can use choreography on our own, just make our own. So there is no set rules, but I find the choreography they're giving us is real good. Sometimes I find it's a little too complicated because it gets real crazy. And if I teach what they give us sometimes, I don't think my students would follow. So I simplify a lot. Sometimes I just take some moves out and repeat some more of the others the same, so make it easier. So that's what I would say about the styles. But coming from teaching hip hop, I like hip hop influence, so I pick the songs that have kind of a lot of hip hop style often. But I grew to love all, so I really can't pick the favorite style right now. I love merengue. I love a good fast merengue. So that brings me to the question why I'm teaching only Zumba. Well, thing is, I got spasmodic dysphonia. I have a few videos on my channel about it. Today is kind of a good day. I'm speaking almost 100% normal, unless you hear a little vibration. Sometimes my voice sounds like I'm about to cry, and that's because I have neurological vocal cord spasms. They're involuntary. And the abductor, see, now it's happened. The abductor, it means your vocal cords separate, but they don't come together, so your vowels don't come out. So it's kind of like you get choked. So because of that, using a microphone is really difficult. Even if I have a microphone, cueing on the microphone, even talking to you guys is very difficult. I just have to really relax and breathe. But if I exercise and cue, my vocal cords spaz, and that's not good. Alright, I'm using a small brush. I think I'm gonna go into a vile serpent, or maybe, no, I'm gonna go to dungeon, like a deeper purple. So yeah, that's why I like to teach nonverbal cue in Zumba, because it's easier on my vocal cords, obviously, because I don't have to speak. And I have a total passion for Zumba. I can't live without it. I can't live without dance. Dance is life. Dance is everything. Cycle is very similar. I love it too, but I still have to speak. I do teach cycle because it's not as much cueing as, let's say, kickboxing class, but I would prefer not to speak at all if I have to, if I don't have to. So those are the questions about the types of exercise, and I kind of got away with my vocal cords disorder. So then I have more questions about exercise, and that's some more specific questions. How often do you go without exercise? If you had to give up which one would it be? Makeup or exercise? Can you tell us about your diet? So let's go with this first. How often do you go without exercise? I would say not at all. If I can, I'll go every day, exercise every day, because once you get used to it, this is kind of a physical addiction almost. Your endorphins get released, and if you don't get exercise one day, I'm in a bad mood. I'm gonna be biatched. Well, I won't feel well. It's kind of, you used to that boost, you used to that state of happiness, And if you don't get that one day, it's like, I'm missing something. I did go without exercise for my surgery. When I had broken elbow a couple of years ago, I had to go without exercise for like a couple of weeks. I had my breast implants removed, which I talked about it in my other video. That was not easy. That was difficult recovery. And well, I had some walks, but I didn't exercise for almost 4 weeks, and that killed me. Oh my God. I was miserable. I was not in a good mood. I just said I'm gonna do something different, not purple, and there it goes. It turned into purple real fast. Yeah, this palette really is purple. When people are complaining it's not purple enough, and now every look I start with, it ends up purple. So the next was, let's see. Oh yeah, if you had to give up, which would it be? Makeup or exercise? Well, I would say makeup, that's easy. Exercise is essential for life. I would not be able to live without exercise. But if I get really sneaky, I can go get tattoo on my face of makeup, the eyeliner, the lip liner, and get away with it. Of course, it looks awful. I mean, it looks okay, but I wouldn't do it. But if I had to, I'd rather tattoo makeup on my face and go without exercise. I mean, without makeup and exercise. It's kind of a silly question, but I think the answer for me is easy. My diet, can you tell us about? Well, my diet has always been, for a long time, since I studied a little bit of nutrition, as being personal trainer. I used to be a personal trainer too. So it's always been more or less clean. I mean, everybody goes out once in a while, it eats chips and salsa and Mexican food and fried. I mean, it happens. I drink wine sometimes. It happens. Not often, but it happens. But mostly I eat some fat-free plain yogurt, a lot of frozen vegetables with spices, chicken, some of the beans, garbanzo beans, I love them. I love egg beaters, the egg whites. It's American probably. I don't know if they have those in Europe, the flavored egg whites. They're very good. Then I like fruit, vegetables. What else? Coffee. I love coffee with almond milk. That's my staple. Unsweetened almond milk, coffee, and stevia. I'm an oddball. I'm a calorie Nazi. What else? Yeah, it's pretty much, it's kind of boring, Like I like some crackers, whole grain, maybe gluten-free, but once in a while, try not to overload. I don't eat any pasta. I don't eat any white bread. I don't eat any rice or, like heavy carbs. I try to stay away from that. I can eat some oatmeal, but I don't like to eat carbs like with dinner, like heavy potatoes, rice, heavy Russian food, which I don't eat. So that's with the diet. But someone has anxiety, struggles to exercise on my own, what would you suggest to combat that? An exercise body isn't an option. How do you get motivated to start exercising if you haven't done it in a long time? And what is the best time of the day to exercise? So here's the thing. Someone has anxiety. Well, actually, exercise really helps with anxiety. You just have to start doing something. If you hate exercise and you think you hate everything, it's not going to happen. You have to find one thing that you like. It doesn't have to be running. If you don't like running, it doesn't have to be dancing if you hate dancing. If you like to take a walk outside, like it's nice out, and you take a walk, it's better than nothing. It's gonna start off your metabolism, and it's gonna start off your endorphins, the chemicals in the brain that makes you happy. So it's kind of like endorphins are kind of like morphine, whatever. But you Google it, it says the same thing. Endorphins make you feel euphoria, feel happy. So just a little bit of exercise, anything that you enjoy, is gonna start pushing you into that routine. So you're gonna crave the exercise, and you're gonna crave that sensation of being happy. And it's real good with depression and anxiety. Of course, I'm not a doctor. I'm not taking away from you, Teresa, because that would be a question for you, what exercise does for depression and anxiety. But it does help. So I would say if you don't have a body, find some videos on YouTube of exercise of your choice. Right now, we all sit in quarantine. So there's plethora of videos on YouTube, dance videos, body condition, and you can do without any equipment. So you actually see somebody in the video, so it's kind of a motivation. And you can watch anything and you can do anything in your own apartment. You don't need much. You can use your own body weight. There's so much plethora of information for free on YouTube. And you can come to me, I'll teach you Zumba. Or when you go out for a walk, when they're allowed, just go out. Just start with walking. If you have any body issues like knee pain, you can start with low impact activity. Anything that you find enjoyable is a good start. So that would be a question for answer for all those questions. And what's the best time of the day? Well, that's a tricky question actually, because people have been talking about this. And they used to say if you work out first thing in the morning before breakfast, you're gonna start off your metabolism and burning fat. Because in the morning your body you still haven't had any food, so you burn the stored fat, which is kind of true. But the thing is, you need more energy to burn more calories. So you can only do a little bit of limited exercise on an empty stomach. If you really want to get into a lot of burn and good long workout, I would say have breakfast first. And bottom line, it comes down to when you feel most energized. Some people night people, some people morning people. I would say as long as they exercise, you can exercise in the morning, at night, or in the middle of the day. I'm in the middle of the day type of person. I like to teach during like 11, 12, a little earlier, but not too early and not too late. At night I get too hyper and then I don't sleep. So again, find your time of the day that you like, and then that would be your exercise time. All right, the next question. I already cut my crease off camera because this is not exciting. This look is turned very purple very quickly, and I was gonna do some blue. So I'm gonna use a flat brush, and at least I'm gonna do something non-purple on the eyelid. Flat brush. I like a good flat brush for this. So next question is still about exercise. I think it's the last question, exercise related. So at least for a year before I had my gallbladder out, I lost 50 pounds or so. After surgery, within the first year, I gained it all back. I ate the same amount of food and still gained. I was in physical therapy a year before and not after. Would that have something to do with it? I'm not the best at being good with food, but I try to eat low-fat food. Any suggestions? How often do you exercise? Well, how often? I already covered it. I'm an exerciseaholic. I crave it every day. So here's the thing about the surgery. People tend to gain weight after the surgery, myself included. I gained some weight after having my breast implants removed because I was stressed and anxious, and I could not exercise. So I know I'll gain a few pounds, not a lot, but once you get back on track with your diet and exercise, you usually lose it. The thing is, I don't know what you meant by physical therapy, because physical therapy can be kind of fat burning too if it's a cardio. So I don't know what was your physical therapy, but it helped you burn extra calories. Also, people, when they say eat the same amount of food, oftentimes they're not aware that they eat more. I'm not saying you eat more, but most of the time when people gain weight and they don't know how, it's because they're not tracking it. I know it's very boring and it's very difficult to track what you eat, but that's what happens. People pretty much overeat and they start gaining. It's very simple. But also, low fat doesn't mean good for a diet. I think low fat, we had this in the 80s and 90s, that a big trend in America was everything low fat. So what happens when you take away the fat from foods? What do they add there? Sugar. So America became sugar obsessed and carb obsessed. So everything was high carb, high sugar, and low fat. And it was not good for diet. That's why we became the most overweight nation. And it's for a reason, because everything is very excessive here. And the hormones added, I mean, cows treated with hormones here. In Europe, it's not allowed. You know, all these things add up. I'm not a doctor, so I can't really, I'm not a dietitian, so I can't tell you technically what to do. But thing is, low fat doesn't equal good. So I would say high fat either. You know, diet fats, the keto diet, the Atkins diet, the South Beach diet, they keep coming out one after thing after the other to get people hooked. But they don't work on the long term. You can't eliminate the full food group and live like that long term. Yes, you're going to lose weight right away. Yes, it's going to work. Like keto or Atkins, it's going to work. I'm not saying keto is the same as Atkins. I'm just saying just the, you know, trends. The trends, they work. But then you can't really maintain that because it's not sustainable. But if you just cut the calories from what you're eating already and just eat whole foods, you know, just normal, the common sense, whole grain instead of white, brown rice instead of white, using small portions, you know, everything that's pretty much already known, but it's hard to do because, you know, we like tasty bits and pieces. You know, when you go to a restaurant, you want to have something tasty, but we have to watch the amount. That's all it is. That's my thing, you know. I consider this food in versus food out. As simple as that might sound, it is true. It's all about calories in and calories out. So I would say if you really have trouble losing weight and you might think it's something health related, I would get complete blood work and see maybe it's your thyroid, maybe it's some kind of underlying issue, because it's not always, you know, just the food. It might be something else. So I'm not a doctor, but of course, after you find out what's wrong or not wrong with you, then you can just go to maybe a program like a Weight Watchers that's popular, or any other programs that let you track what you eat. I know I can go on about this forever. I'm an exercise and diet fanatic. So next I'm gonna go into makeup. So I have a question here. Hey lovely, what made you get into the YouTube? Plus, where did you get inspiration for a unique style of makeup? Love to you and family. Oh, thank you. So what made me get into YouTube? That's a good question. By the way, I'm not even explaining what I'm doing. I'm going to the executioner now, obviously, the black. Because the black has to go on my eyeballs. And so, the YouTube thing, I've been thinking about doing this for a long time. Actually, a long time. Because people always ask me, who does your makeup? I'm like, well, me, myself. And then they say, well, you should really do some tutorials. Like, how did you do that? What did you use on your face? What did you use in your eyeshadow? You know, can you explain? Can you make a video? And I never had enough equipment. And since we moved a lot, we never had either space or money to buy anything. So we've been broke for a long, long time, my husband and I. We really lived very, very modestly. And at some time, even recently, I only had maybe a couple of eyeshadows, not even a palette. So I just played with what I had from dollar store mostly. So this whole thing with the makeup collection is all very new to me. So what made me really go into YouTube now, when we moved to LA and we have a kind of a small area here, and we got a little more money now, was watching Missa actually, watching Make Me Up Missa, and she's not like the huge multi-million YouTuber, but she's big already. And I was just watching her grow. I'm like, well, maybe I can do it too. And she has similar bright color style of makeup, well, which I love too. So I was thinking, well, I really have to give it a try. So Missa was my big inspiration. So I wanted to get into YouTube after I watched her for months and months. So what was the other question? Yeah, where do you get inspiration for your unique style of makeup? Well, I don't know if it's that unique. I get a lot of inspiration from our group, the Sexy Sausages. We are the patrons on Patreon for Missa, and we have our Facebook group, we have our WhatsApp group, we post makeup looks, so we all get inspired from each other. So I take a lot of inspiration from all of the girls. Uh, all of them. I can't even name the names because everybody's amazing. But from years of doing makeup, I would say develop my own style. It's just a matter of playing around with colors. And I always like color. Always love color. Neutrals was never my thing. I would say from my time I was a teenager, neutrals never were my thing. So, which leads me to the next question. As a fellow color lover in her 40s, what made you fall in love with color over neutrals? And when did you become obsessed with makeup? That's a good question. So, when? I would say very, very early. I don't know, as long as I remember myself, in my teen years, I was watching my mom apply makeup every time she went out anywhere. She didn't have a lot because I grew up in Soviet Union, and we had very limited makeup options. I mean, at that time in the 70s and 80s, I guess she only wore like eyeliner and lipstick and mascara, maybe some blush, but there were no color palettes. There's no such thing. Maybe they had a few single colors, but not palettes. I remember watching her put probably blue eyeshadow, a very stereotypical blue eyeshadow. And she always loved the fuchsia, like a deep purple fuchsia lipsticks. That was her favorite, or browns. And I watched her do that, and I love watching her do makeup. And I always wanted to do makeup. At 12-year-old, I would take her makeup and do my face and then wash it off, of course. And then we had those magazines. I still remember we had German Burda, I think it was called Burda, and then we had some, maybe Vogue. I'm not 100% sure, but it had some magazines that it was very, very hard to get in Soviet Union, and you get your hands on it from a friend of a friend, and you would take it, you would look at it and pass it on to another person. Because they're not very common. I mean, Soviet magazines are around, but the Western magazines, those like, oh my God, let me look at it. So I saw the spread of makeup in the middle of a magazine. There was a beautiful girl, I still remember, with the brown hair up, and she had blue and burgundy and purples, greens all mixed together, blended. I still remember that picture, like now. Maybe I was like 13 or 14. I remember that picture in the magazine and I wanted to recreate it. So my girlfriend and I pulled all of my makeup my mom had, including lipsticks, including liquid eyeshadow, blue eyeshadow, red lipsticks, to create those colors. And we did it. I look like a clown, probably. But we wanted to do that look so bad. And I remember that was my first memory of creating a colorful look, like with anything I had under my fingertips. So I cleaned my skin up under my eyes so we can do some face makeup. I'm doing like a classic booty guru style. The eyes first, the face, then the low lash line. I'm turning into a monster. Thank you, sexy sausages. It's your fault. You made me do this auto makeup. It's not me, it's you. Anyway, what am I doing this? Kind of like this I got from Catrice from Venice in Ireland. And this is a priming, hydrating, anti-wrinkle, natural glow, blah blah blah, sensational 10-in-1 dream primer from Catrice. I feel like it's very glowy and very moisturizing. And I feel like I need moisture. Ooh, got on my lip. Yeah, what made you fall in love with color over neutrals? I never liked neutrals. Even, like I said previously, from the first time I used makeup, I like color. And my day, something to do with my dad being an architect. And my dad was always very creative and artistic. He liked to paint. And he had paintings. He did like nature paintings. He would do his own, or he would recreate some paintings from photographs, you know, stuff like that. And it was very colorful. I love color. So I think for me, it translated into a portrait. I drew like pictures of celebrities, like a pencil drawings. I liked faces better than I like nature. So, but it also translated into color. I always love color, just in my nature. Use a little bit more. A goodbye pores by Catrice. So next question, how do you feel about makeup do's and makeup don'ts? For example, people of certain age shouldn't wear glitter. If you have blue eyes, you shouldn't wear blue eyeshadow. Good question. I strongly disagree. Well, first of all, this kind of concepts don't come out of blue air, out of empty air, what do you call it? Anyway, this makes sense because when you have blue eyes, the opposite is the complemented color on the color wheel. So the opposite of blue is orange. So browns and burnt oranges should be your better color story, right? And if you have green eyes, the opposite is red. So you would use pinks and purples and reds as your eyeshadow. But in reality, this is very outdated. And you should wear what you want. People should be wearing whatever the hell they want. That's my opinion. And if the eyeshadow is done right, and complementing blue or complementing tones and done well, it's gonna look good in blue eyes, you know, whether you like it or not. It's still gonna look good. So I don't think it's right, you know. There's no rules in makeup. And I love drag queens. That's another thing why I love colorful makeup. My inspiration for makeup comes from drag queens a lot. I watched numerous drag queen shows, well, RuPaul Drag Race obviously, but also YouTube videos and tutorials. I love drag, so that influenced my makeup a lot. So you might think it's crazy, but the white liner and my waterline, that's drag. The big makeup, you know, everything exaggerated is drag. I love it. Like, I live for drag queens. So that's another thing, like drag queens say there's no rules. Makeup has no rules. And the same thing with glitter, a certain age. Yes, it makes sense, because if you have any folds in your skin, like you have aging eyelids, if you put glitter, it's going to emphasize every wrinkle. Or if you put glitter here, I have some fine lines here too. If I put too much glitter, you'll see a little bit of fine lines that's invisible if you don't have glitter. So I would say glitter does emphasize it, but again, if that's what makes you happy, why not? I'll put glitter. I still use glittery highlight. I don't give an F. I like glitter, so sue me. So I think this is very outdated. So people should be allowed to wear whatever makes them happy. That's my opinion, my humble opinion. So let's see. Do you find if you haven't done a face for the day, it affects your mood? Or does your mood affect when you wear makeup? Yes, definitely. The makeup is the mood for the day. That's for sure. So let me start the foundation. I'll never start doing this. I'm gonna use something that I have not used on camera yet. This is a gift from one of my subscribers and friends. Thank you so much, you know who you are. That color was wrong for her and she pushed it on me as a gift. Thank you. I didn't want to take it because it's very expensive, but it's very nice. I would not buy it for myself. That's Lancome Teint Miracle. I don't know, I probably don't pronounce it right. I know that Taylor Wynn, I like Taylor Wynn. She doesn't like this, but I'm dry too, and it works. So I don't know why. I don't remember why she didn't like it. And I'm gonna use it with my Juna sponge, if I find it. There's my Juna. So yeah, I always put my makeup on in the morning. I remember my mom, when I was growing up, she said she would not come out even to take the trash out if she didn't have makeup on. Not because she thought she was ugly, but because she loved makeup and she loved being beat, like moderately beat, you know. What for me is beat, for her would be like, no, she didn't. Yeah, of course. But this comes from family, I think, you know. My mom loved makeup her whole life, so I kind of grew up the same way. I really like this foundation. Gives you good coverage. So I don't know why some people don't like it. So do you find makeup to be part of your uniform? Oh, for sure, 100%. I put it on in the morning. I have thyroid disorder, hypothyroidism, and my hormones out of whack, but that's a different story. Anyway, so I have to take thyroid medication. So when I take the thyroid medication, you have to wait 1 hour before you eat. So convenience. So I brush my teeth, I wash my face, I beat my face, and then I'm ready to have breakfast. Voila! An hour is spent well. So yeah, so that's very convenient. My thyroid disease and makeup work together. Do you feel you get judged by others when wearing makeup at the gym? Do you find you get odd looks when wearing bold, colorful eyeshadow? Well, that's a very interesting question. It kind of, well, I would say everywhere else that I taught before, any gym, people don't really give a crap. Don't give a two F's about it. Because most of the time we lived in a lot of big cities. I like big cities. I grew up in the city, very urban, very heavily populated. I love that. And every big city has their own weirdos, right? And has a variety of people. So when they have so much, variety and so many different types of people, so many different looks, nobody lifts an eyebrow. Nobody really cares. The only time I kind of got looks when I was auditioning in New York, in corporate. I'm not gonna say what company, just for privacy reasons, but it was very uptight corporate. So I've been in the fitness industry for years. I'm not gonna toot my horn, but I'm pretty good at it. So when I was auditioning, the manager was like, "You're amazing, you're so good, you've been there for years, I can tell. But please, can you tone down your makeup?" Because when we hire you, the people are very uptight here, and she says, they will complain. And I'm like, I'm a fitness instructor. I'm not a bank teller, why? But, well, I try to tone down when I work out there. Teach. So, that was the only time that was asked to tone down my makeup. And I was like, shook. I'm like, really? But no, most of the time, people don't care. And in LA too, LA is like all kind of weird, colorful looks. People walk around looking all kind of weird all over the place, so nobody cares. That's why I like big cities. You walk around Manhattan and Times Square, people don't give a crap. You walk around LA, in Hollywood, or downtown, all kind of weirdos around, nobody cares. Yeah, so the next question was, how often do you go without makeup? Which I already covered, because I don't. I just don't. The only time I went without makeup was when I had any kind of surgery, and they have to put you under, and you're not allowed to wear makeup into the operation room. And I'm not kidding you. I almost asked my doctor, can I wear makeup? Yes, I'm that kind of bitch. I'm a crazy person. I want to wake up with makeup on. Why not? Why not? It's awesome. Makeup is awesome. Makeup makes me happy, so whatever. But those are the only days I did not. So I just picked up e.l.f. just whatever I grabbed. e.l.f. Hydrating Camo Concealer. One of my recent favorites. I'm gonna put that on. And next one, let's see. What is your favorite foundation, concealer, powder from drugstore versus prestige brands? Which do you have more of? Well, here's the thing. Since, as I said before, we lived very modestly for years and we didn't have a lot of money. So I never had a very prestige brands makeup. So I can't really compare. All I have is drugstore mostly. I only have like a couple of palettes of Jeffree Star and Tati Beauty, and that's it. So, the same for foundation concealers. I mean, from recent ones that I tried, I would say this probably could be my favorite, the e.l.f. Hydrating Concealer. I'll just use dry sponge. And from foundation, oh, the newest favorite, no questions, is Catrice HD Liquid Foundation. That one by, again, it recommended by Missa, make me up Missa. That foundation is the bomb. It's amazing. It's inexpensive, it's drugstore, it performs well. I'm using a bougie foundation as I'm talking about it, but I would say it's not any worse than this, if not better. I'm just saying. It's very high coverage, it looks beautiful on skin. It works for my dry skin, although it's not for dry skin. What's your top 5 palettes and top 5 lipsticks? That's an interesting question. The palettes are all my babies. I don't have a huge collection. If you can see my declutter video, which was not really a declutter because my collection is not big, but I do have my favorite, well, obviously the new Jeffree Star palette I'm using, I love it. And the new drugstore bought, sort of drugstore, the Beauty by Emma Mitchell. That one is amazing. Beautiful, inexpensive and colorful. The new Jaclyn Hill palette, Morphe palette with Jaclyn Hill, the 2nd edition, is gorgeous. All purples and pinks. Beautiful and well performing, except for a couple of shades. Tati Beauty, neutral, which I don't like, but it's beautiful texture. All those textures they have, beautiful palette. I keep on going to say my for some reason. I keep on digging in there. What else? Makeup Revolution. All the palettes from Makeup Revolution that I own, I love them. They're from drugstore. I love the Utopia palette, very purple. I love Tammy palette from a Carnival Tropical palette. It's very colorful. Every time I use it, I'm like, why have I not used it? I love that palette. If you hear noise in the background, my husband just arrived from a flight and he's unpacking, so never mind that. He's gonna be making some noise. But yeah, those are my favorites. I mean, anything by Revolution that I have, all my Revolution palettes are great. So I can't really say the top 5. Because I believe in them all. The lipsticks are interesting because I'm not a snob of lipsticks. I don't have like favorites. I just like a good nude. I like good nude, washed out, concealed lips so you can see your lips. I like brights, but not too bright. So I like this nude, Milani, and that's Matte Innocence. It's real light. And I like Revolution matte lipstick in Naked. This one is a good one. I like this one. It's a little bit dry, but Maybelline Super Stay. This one in color Loyalist is very pretty. And the only high-end I bought in TJ Maxx is Anastasia, and this one is Naked. This one's real nice color, real nice. Again, just a little dry, but those are probably my favorites because they're very nude. I love nudes, but I can't really say like they're my favorite top because I don't care about lips that much. I don't know. I just don't. Okay, set my face off camera with Catrice Glow Illusion Loose Powder. It's really nice. It's sort of glowy. But I have my favorite Makeup Revolution, and this is an Opalescence. If I ever open it, I have to use a pin to open this sucker. So this gives you a nice glow all over. So I have a couple more makeup questions left, and these are the first memory of putting on makeup, and I already kind of answered that when I was a young, probably teenager, watching my mom put on makeup. I use her stuff. What's your all-time favorite brand? Well, again, that's really hard to answer because I like a lot of items from different brands. So I can't say I have this preference over that. But I would say I like a lot of items from Makeup Revolution and Revolution Pro. So I would say anything from Revolution could be my favorite brand. So that would be the answer. And I think that would be the end of my makeup questions. So we did makeup, we did fitness. Now it's personal. So let me see what we're doing with the face. Contour. Or do I do my low lash line first? I think I'm gonna do my low lash line first. So I'll take a smaller brush, a spongy brush from Jessup, and I think I want to use Vile Serpent. I already used Executioner in the low lash line a little bit before I got into it, but now I really want to smudge. Maybe I'll use small brush if it's smaller, and I'll use Vile Serpent. I want to get into that green since I put green shimmer in my eyelid. I'm getting into talking in this video, and I keep forgetting to explain what I'm doing with my makeup. But of course, the chatty get ready with me is not about what I'm doing. It's more about what I'm answering. So the personal questions. That should be interesting. How did you and John meet? How many years have you been together? So if you don't know, I think I had one chatty video before with I think I did it with Tati Beauty Palette, and I was talking about how we met. So we met online. If you don't know, I still lived in my country in Moldova, and I worked as an interpreter in a dating service. At that time, in the 90s, they didn't have fast internet. We had a dial-up. So if any of you people don't know what dial-up is, then I'm old AF. The dial-up, it's like a phone line that you dial to get internet, and it was very slow. So I would get to the dating agency and I would wait until email loads, and I would translate it, answer it at home, type it in, bring the diskette, yes, diskette, put it in the computer and send it. I'm just laughing because it's been so long. All this technology is so outdated now. But that's how we met. He saw my pictures online. He wrote emails to me and another girl. And I saw that because I was an interpreter. So I interpreted everything, including her emails. But she wasn't interested. She kind of passed him off to me because she was interested into money. And he wasn't making a lot of money. So she's like, you can take him. I'm like, okay, I will. And then when he came over to see me, I was kind of love at first sight. I knew I had a connection. You know, if they say there is a love at first sight, that's what happened, I think. but we both felt the connection. And he stayed in my country for about like 10 days. So he proposed on the third day. Yes, that dramatic. I think I was trying to beat my grandmother record, because my grandmother, she grew up, when did she get married? After World War II, right? Yeah, she got married after World War II. So at that time, her sister was in the military, and my grandfather was in the military, and my grandma was younger. So they were moving around, my grandma and her sister, and they were staying in Moldova, like with their military division. And she met my grandfather, and at the dance party. So that's an interesting story, because her sister, older sister, was a military. She says we were moving back. They lived in a different like part of Soviet Union. She's like, we're going next morning, and she says, I'm not going anywhere. I'm staying with this guy. So they got married within 3 days, literally, and they've been together ever until my grandfather passed away. That is a love story. So my husband and I kind of like doing the same kind of thing. So we met, we liked each other immediately. He proposed, and that was it. I got a fiance visa. If you ever watch the fiance, 90 Day Fiance, that's kind of a thing, but except it's without drama, you know. We collected the paperwork and I moved. And we had just a wedding. We didn't have a wedding. We didn't have money. Just went to court, signed the papers, and we've been together ever since. 21 years. So that answers those questions. How many years have been together? Since 1998. So it will be 22 years this year. Holy cow. I just got shook. So we know you lived in a lot of places over the years. Can you tell us where and which place was your favorite? And as you move around a lot, can you see yourself ever leaving LA? Okay, so those are good questions too. We lived in a lot of places. Let me do my low lash line, waterline, Shockwave LA Girl Neon eyeliner, and like a cool green. I need to sharpen it real bad, but I'm too lazy, so I'm squeezing the rest of that. So we lived in Florida for the longest time. So when I moved to the States, that's where he lived. So we lived in Miami from 1998 till, I would say, 2011. I think it was 2011. So I went ahead and applied mascara, eyeliner, eyelashes off camera, because that's a little time consuming. I wouldn't be able to answer any questions with that. So for the eyeliner, I used Scandalize, this one. That's by Rimmel. And I used the mascara, my usual favorite, the Lash Princess by Essence. And for the eyelashes, I used the Primark, Primark? How do you pronounce it? Primark or Primark? Pennies. Anyway. So I want to use a little bit of gold liner to line my crease, just to give it a little sparkle. So next question. Oh yeah, what places you lived? I started to say that. We lived after that in Istanbul, Turkey for a year. That was flying for John, was flying for a Turkish company that owned US plane, and then Atlanta, and then we moved to New York. Then we moved to Las Vegas. That was like my worst place to live. I did not like the city. And then back to New York, because I love New York. And then from New York to LA, that was a transfer and a race. So, and the question was, which place I liked the most? I would say, well, to be honest, New York is the place I'm gonna view as my home, because it reminds me where I grew up. It's like a very big urban city. I love cities where you can actually see people on the street and walk. So that was my favorite part. But New York subway system is so bad. And I don't need subway. I don't mean subway that you eat, UK girls. I mean underground. You guys in UK call it underground. We call it subway. So New York underground subway is bad. So it's getting so ridiculous the last few years. The delays are so bad. So like I was over it, and the weather is so cold. The winters have been brutal. So my husband and I were like, if you get transfer, we'll take it. So he was offered a transfer in a race in LA. So we took it. So he's flying pretty much for the same company. I love the weather in LA the best out of all the places we lived. I love this because it's mostly dry. It rains a little bit now in spring, but mostly it's dry, so I can ride my bike all the way around. I love cycling. And it's mostly warm, so it's not much cold weather here. So yeah, this real sparkle added something extra. So I would say definitely New York as a city overall, but LA with the weather, you can't beat that. So as you, John, move around a lot, can you see yourself ever live in LA? You know, we have some kind of itch in our ASSHOLES in the behind. It's an itch. Once you start moving, you love exploring new places. And it's like we can't stop. Every time we move, we're like, we love this. We're gonna stay here. New York, we're gonna stay here. Now LA, we're gonna stay here. And now I'm like, well, I could see myself living in UK, in London. I love London because it's similar to New York, but it's a big city. I love living in the big cities. So I could live myself. Besides, you guys in UK have free healthcare, which ours sucks big time. So that's a big plus. But nobody is inviting us. That's the problem. So let's see, what's the next question? I'm gonna move on to my counter. Would you consider taking flying lessons? That's a good question. Actually, I didn't, but he was trying to teach me when we were just married and we lived in Florida. I'm gonna use a contour palette from Essence, the viral palette that everybody loves. So he rented those little planes, like a single or a double engine, and he took me flying like above the water line in Miami. It was beautiful, and he was kind of telling me what to do, what buttons to push, how to steer, I would say. And I like the idea, but then I'm a very organized person and I need to start from the beginning. So for me, like I wanted to learn from a book first. So I took one of his books, the manual, to study. And the language is so dry. It's so bad. I just could not pass the first page. I'm like, it's not for me. Just not that interested. Just studying that would be so much pain and behind. So I guess I could learn the practical part, but I just can't read that book. It just bores me to death. So yeah, I passed on that. And it's very expensive too, guys. If you ever consider flying lessons, you have to pay a lot of money to rent a plane, to practice, fly with an instructor, take lessons. It's very, very expensive. That's why we have shortage of pilots in US now, which is a good thing for my husband because he can get a job that he wants anytime now. So what's the next question? Let's see. You and John moved a few times in the States. Would you ever consider moving back to Russia or anywhere else in the world? And do you find there is sometimes a clash between yours and John's personality? Well, first of all, the moving part, I think I would. I don't know. John, do you agree? Would you consider moving to another place? Yeah. See, he just said yeah. I don't know if you heard it, but we have the itch in our a-holes, literally. We like to move. And although I love LA, but I would consider living in Europe. But it would take for me, as a fitness instructor, I don't make a lot of money. John is a breadwinner, for sure. But it's for him to get licensed to fly planes in Europe would be more difficult. And I don't know if it would have any reason to hire American pilots. So if you need a job, if you know somebody who needs a pilot, very good pilot, my husband is for sale. I'm gonna pimp him out. I'm just kidding, but yeah, I would consider, but probably not in Russia, because I grew up in Moldova, which is not a part of Russia anymore. And although I'm Russian, Moldovan culture is like different from Russians. It's very complicated. Nationality-wise, I'm Russian, but the birthplace-wise, I'm from Moldova, and I'm not that attracted to that country overall. So I don't see the future of living there. I feel like US is my home. It's been for so many years. All my adult life is here, so I consider it my home. I don't know if I even contour my nose. My nose not that big. It's pretty tiny. Just put a little, oops. So what was the next? Oh yeah, is there a clash between our personalities? Well, this is a very interesting question because we are very different people, to be honest. Like, we have different likes. When we got married, he was quiet as a mouse, because if we go to a party, he's quiet, and I'm more personable. I like to talk, I like to be a center of a party, I like to socialize, and he's the opposite, but I think things rub off of each other, you know? So he's more social, I would say. He's more sociable now than he used to be. And I'm more nerdy now than I used to be, maybe. Because I didn't used to be into like computers and stuff. And I think that rubs off of him on me. So we kind of like learn from each other, I would say. I wouldn't say that there is a clash, because we mostly very leveled people. I'm not like crazy unless I teach my Zumba class, and I get crazy. So I don't think there is much of a clash. Let me see, what bronzer should I use? Oh, the new one, the CYO bronzer I got at Dupes. Okay, so this is turning into a very long video, I realize, so I threw on some contour bronzer off camera. The bronzer, I used the new one I got in Ireland, that CYO bronzer, and this is in the color medium. When the sun don't shine, well, why would it not be shining if you're wearing bronzer? Crush and Blush Powder Blush by CYO, and thank you to Teresa, my favorite cookie, the Benefit Cookie highlighter. I put it everywhere, and I put it on my inner corners as well, in my brow bone. That's the cookie. It's all the goodness right there. This is like a real bomb. It's very expensive, but it's they have sometimes on sale in the set. So I put the Milani eyeliner, lip liner. What am I saying? And this is the color 04 All Natural. So now one thing is left is to do lipstick. And by the way, I forgot to mention my favorite palettes. Almost forgot, because I have not touched them because I have so much new stuff lately. But I forgot about my ABH TJ Maxx palettes. I would say these are one of my favorites too. I need to play with them more because they are freaking amazing. So the final question is, what do you do in your spare time besides your job and makeup? So if I don't exercise, I exercise more. I love cycling. You guys not into cycling, you need to try it, seriously. And it's hard to answer questions and do lipstick. So I'll probably have to come back and answer it without lipstick. Hold on. Okay, so as I was saying, it's impossible to answer questions and do lipstick, which I just found out. So in my spare time, I love cycling. If you guys don't know how to cycle, it is amazing. I say Zumba is life, but cycle outdoors is everything, because you get to see the nature, you get to relax, your anxiety goes down, you get to exercise. It's exhilarating. And here in LA, the scenery is beautiful. We have mountains, we have trails, you can hike. It's just amazing. Those are the endorphins I was talking about. You get this high from exercise, It's a sensation like no other. Even my husband got into it lately. He's not been into exercise the whole time. We were married for 20, almost 22 years. And now he finally, like, I need to get fit. I'm like, duh, finally. So that's what I love to do. And also, one of my favorite things, I'm about to spray myself, is the drag. I love drag shows. I love doing drag on me. I love to put my husband in drag sometimes. I practice on him, okay? But he won't let me do it on camera, so pooh. But it's the most fun thing to do drag makeup and to watch. I love RuPaul Drag Race, and I've watched every episode of every season ever. Yes, queen. About to spray myself. It was pretty fresh. Hyaluronic acid setting mist from Colourpop. I just got it recently, so I'm still testing it out. Smells good. Coconuts. Talking about Drag Race. I love the dramatic effect of a fan. Nothing like it. So here's my eye look. Ooh, I think I like this camera. It's really bright. I mean, the image is very clear. Thank you, Teresa. I think I'm going to like this better than my Rebel T5i. Yeah, I think I like this look. So I put a lot of Colourpop eyeliner in the waterline and made it look pretty and bright. A lot of green from Jeffree Star palette and purple. It's a kind of a green and purple, one of my favorite combinations. And the ABH lipstick is real nice. That's the one I naked, the one I mentioned, one of my favorites. And the highlight, the cookie highlight. Look at the cookie. Cookie. It's so good. There you have it. A full makeup of Q&A. And I have a feeling it's going to be a very long video. So sorry if you're not interested. Then keep scrolling to the category. Because first is exercise, then makeup, then personal life. If you want to know more things about me, so maybe I'll make it a thing once in a while. I'll answer the questions and see what's going on here. Nothing going on in LA. We're all on quarantine. We're all sitting at home. We've been hiking, John and I, and now I think they put out a order of no going into parks, so we can't even go into parks anymore. So I'm stuck at home teaching live Zumba. If you guys are interested, I have a fitness account which I'm going to link in the pinned comment below and in the description box. It's my Instagram fitness account, and I post links to Zoom, and I do live Zumba workouts. So if you want to join me, I'm still learning Zoom, so it's been kind of a couple of fails, but it's getting better. So if you guys are interested, follow me on the fitness Instagram account listed in the description box. So that was it for today. I hope you enjoyed it. Give this video a thumbs up if you like it, and leave me a comment. Let me know what else do you want to hear, or what looks do you want to see. I have a couple of new palettes still not reviewed sitting around, so I'll probably get to them soon. And I have another makeup video idea. That's going to be my next project. So if you haven't subscribed yet, subscribe to my channel. I upload every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday at 11 AM Pacific time. Ring notification bell so you know when I upload. And I'll see you guys in my next video. Thank you for watching, guys. Thank you. Bye.